Hello YouTube, this is Florida Man here, and today we're going to be installing HomeAssistant with Supervisor on Docker in Debian 10 Buster. Now, you may be asking what HomeAssistant is. Well, let's answer that. HomeAssistant is an open-source IoT and home automation platform built by some really amazing people. It allows for custom automation scripts that you can write yourself, and it's made to be run locally on a computer that you own. Home Assistant allows for you to connect many devices together, all from separate smart home ecosystems, into one single management interface. In my opinion, it makes managing a smart home so much easier. But what is the supervisor I've been talking about as well? Well, I think I'll explain that too. Now, you may be wondering what Supervisor is and why I'm going to be installing it with Home Assistant. Well, the Supervisor is a system that allows you to install add-ons to Home Assistant. These add-ons are also Docker containers, just like Home Assistant and Supervisor. But the Supervisor adds a user interface for installing them. A user interface can be very useful if you don't feel like finding a container on Docker Hub and going to the command line interface to install it each and every time. It also adds a better way to manage your containers and add-ons if you want to restart, stop, or remove them. Now, how do we install all this? Let's get into that. Now, as this tutorial is using Debian 10 instead of Ubuntu 20.04 LTS, like in some of my other tutorials, card in the right corner, the install process for Docker is slightly different. Now that we got that out of the way, we can actually get started. First, we're going to update our system so that it's running the latest and greatest software. So first, we're going to open our terminal and run sudo apt update. And it's going to ask you for your user password because we're using the sudo command. And it says all packages are up to date because it's refreshed the repos and seen that all of our packages are up to date. But I'm going to give the apt upgrade command a run anyway, just as an example. So we're going to type sudo apt upgrade -y. This will upgrade any available packages that need to be upgraded. Now we're going to run sudo apt auto remove -y. This will remove any extra installed packages that we don't need. Now that we've updated our packages, we're going to use sudo -i, and this will make us a super user. And we can finish the install now that we are a super user. So first we're going to install some dependencies, and we're going to run sudo, we do not need to run sudo. We're just going to run apt-get install -y software properties common AppArmor utils apt-transport https ca-certificates curl dbus jq and network-manager. No space after network. And I'm just going to let all of these install, and oh, that was actually very fast. Alright, once that is done, which in my case it was very fast, we're going to disable modem manager systemctl service with systemctl disable modem manager. And it's disabled the service, and now we need to stop the service with systemctl stop modem manager. And now that it's stopped that service, we're going to use curl to install Docker with a bash script. And we do that by running curl-fssl get.docker.com, and then we're going to pipe in an sh. And this is going to install Docker. Now, this may take a while, so I'm going to tell you about our sponsor, Nobody, the free service that you can use to fill up space in your YouTube video. Visit the non-existent link in the description to get 0% off your first filler spot. Now, back to the video. We still gotta wait for this to install. Yeah, it may take a while, and this is just because it's installing quite a few things like Docker CE, Docker CE CLI, container.io, and RUNC, or RUNC, or however the hell you pronounce it. I'm not really sure, but I digress. Oh, and it's installed. Perfect. Now, once Docker is installed, we can run curl-sl, and then in quotes, https://github-user-content/Kanga-Who. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. And then /home-assistant/master/supervised installer.sh, and then an end quote. And then we're going to pipe in a bash. Apparently I can't type today. bash-s. And this is a script made by Kanga-Who. Special thanks to them, they made this one-line install script for HomeAssistant and Supervisor. Link to their GitHub will be in the description down below. Go check them out and give them some appreciation. Now, it's going to ask if you want to overwrite any of the network files. We're going to press yes, because this is, in my case, this is a virtual machine, so I don't really, this doesn't really matter for me. But you may not want to do that. But anyway, now that, sorry about this. And once this is done, we should be able to access our Home Assistant instance from a browser. So, and it looks like it's finished up. So I'm just going to open Firefox ESR. And this is just the pre-installed browser on Debian. But if you're running Debian server, which is a command line interface only, which I may also make a command line interface only video tutorial about this as well, then you'll have to use your own browser. But it says here, it says first time setup will take some time, but when it's ready, you can reach it here. So we can use our local IP address, which is this IP here. But we can also use a loopback address, like 127.0.0.1, or localhost. Now, I'm going to use the localhost option, as I just prefer it. Now, we need to specify where the web server is running, the port where the web server is running, that is. Now, for Home Assistant, that port is 8123, so we can add a :8123 to our localhost. So we're going to type localhost :8123, and then we should be able to press enter. And we're done. So we're just going to enter a name, a username, and a password. So I'm just going to type a super secure password in here, just because I don't need anything specific. And I'm not going to click detect, because I don't want you guys to know where I live. So it's just going to stay there, but I will say I'm in the United States if it's not clear by my accent. So I'm going to set it to Imperial for the measurement system, and we're going to go to next. And it hasn't detected any devices, because this is running in a virtual machine, and it's not really connected to the outside world. But we're just going to click finish here, And look at this, brings us to our Home Assistant. I'm gonna say yes to stay logged in, but you don't really have to. But this is what Home Assistant looks like. So we have all of our, this is just our default information that we have set up here. So we have some cards that tell us some information, of course. So we have it saying cloudy and 39 degrees Fahrenheit in Amsterdam, because this is not my home. And sun is just below the horizon in Amsterdam. Updater, now this is a binary sensor that is just showing when we need to update Home Assistant, of course. And this is showing my current status as a person in Home Assistant, but it doesn't know because my phone isn't connected to this. Now, if we pay attention to this sidebar over here, we can see Supervisor down here. Now, the Supervisor, this is what was so great about this particular install script. Because if you install Home Assistant just as a simple container and don't install the Supervisor, you'll have to go and manually install all of your add-ons yourself. And add-ons don't properly integrate with Home Assistant if you set it up that way. So using this one-line install script works so much better because you have access to the Supervisor as well. So we can go to the add-on store, and this has some of our basic add-ons that we can use with Home Assistant. Now, we can also enable advanced mode on our profile page, and you can do that by either clicking the link at the very bottom of the add-on store right here, or you can just click on your profile on the side right there. Now, we're going to set advanced mode to on, like this. And now if we go to Supervisor and Add-on Store, we should see quite a few more add-ons here, like DNS Mask, which runs a DNS server, or DHCP server, which is a simple DHCP server. And we should also have some extra add-ons here, and the list does grow quite a lot longer, so just some interesting... just looking at some things. Sorry about that. But yeah, there are quite a few interesting things here, like SQL servers and Let's Encrypt. But anyway, let's just move on to our conclusion. So, now that we have a full Home Assistant server running with Supervisor in Docker, what should we be able to take away from today? Well, today we learned that Home Assistant, an open-source IoT hub, can be installed in just a few commands. Home Assistant Supervisor can be installed alongside Home Assistant for easy installation of add-ons, and that Home Assistant is just overall a great platform. That is, in my opinion, of course. Now, I hope you are able to get this working, but I had fun teaching you, so maybe come back for more quality content. Do the subscribing and liking down below if you enjoyed. And this has been Florida Man, and I am out.